I'm James.
And I'm Milan.
And these are the last 20 days. We're joined today by my parents. Say hello.
Hello.
Say hello, Dad.
Hello.
It's Mother's Day, so I thought it
Hello.
was fitting to have my mother on the show today. And they just recently watched vlog number 6, the 15-minute long episode in which we listened to the current episode with Erica Johnson, a radio program in Canada. Now, people obviously believe that this is 100% going to happen.
Well, there's no way that anyone can predict when the Lord is going to return, the second coming of Christ. Because the Bible says that he will come like a thief in the night. So there's no way anybody can predict it. You'd like to think you could. And I'd like to be able to know when he's coming so that, just the excitement of him coming back, because this world is so crazy. But there's no way that you can predict that exact moment in time.
He says, no man shall knoweth the hour of the return. But Harold Camping then goes on to say, actually, he says that, but we can know the date and the year. And they're saying now that on May 21st, a Saturday, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, there will be a worldwide earthquake. Now, he has people investing money into this campaign, and he has been wrong once before. There are actually people who have completely quit their jobs and are now spending their entire life savings, budgeting themselves to know that on May 21st they will have nothing left.
They're going to have a rude awakening on May 22nd, because what we are supposed to do is prepare ourselves spiritually for the second coming. You are to study the Word and be filled with His love and His glory and His to be filled with the Spirit to prepare yourself. As long as you do that, you prepare yourself in that way, when the Lord comes, you're going to be in perfect shape.
To live every day as if He's coming tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, you're allowed to talk too, dear.
Now, they call these people apocalypticists. And this isn't the first time people have predicted the end of times. In fact, in the 1800s, they were predicting the end. And they had people up on rooftops waiting for Jesus to come down and grab them. They had people living in poverty, having given up everything. And this then became known as the Great Disappointment. It's funny because no group nowadays can actually say that they know when the end is coming, because we've cried wolf so many times that if one specific group sadly does know the answer, no one will believe them.
No. We're not supposed to know. If we were supposed to know, it would be in the Scriptures to tell you.
And that's what Harold Camping has been doing. He's been going through the Scriptures and pulling together little dates and making his own little algorithms and throwing in some arithmetic, some algebra, some trigonometry, some calculus, and has come up with May 21st, 2011. Now, he already came up with September 6, 1994, and he thought that was the right date. But then they said, oh, wait, he was actually only working on that for 2 years. And, well, he recalculated, and they've crunched the numbers, and it's really, really happening this time. But if you're to look at the Bible and completely interpret from beginning to end the Bible as this message of when the end of times are coming, then why are we completely leaving out the Gospels, which have been deemed inappropriate for the Bible, the Gnostic Gospels? If you're going to look at the entire Bible and say, this is what God has said, this is exactly what is coming, then why are you cutting out half the Bible and only using what you think is usable to predict this end, this second coming, Harold Camping?
You can have two people read the same Scripture and come up with two meanings. You're trying to discredit the Scriptures, because you have different people, like the Jehovah's Witness. They're one that interprets the Bible one way. You have the
Mormons.
That was on the cults.
Yeah, they're all yeah, that was on the calls, but but you see what they're doing to the Bible is they're taking out what they don't deem that doesn't fit their agenda.
So they're not pulling interpretation from the Bible, they're pouring interpretation into the Bible.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, James. That's what they're doing to make it wording to say how they want it to be said.
And what I'm thinking is Harold Camping says that anybody who doesn't believe in this May 21st phenomenon is offending God. Well, I actually think, being as Harold Camping has said, oh, Jesus is gonna come back on September 6th, and oh, he's wrong, he read it wrong, but oh, now Jesus is gonna come back on May 21st. If he's wrong again, would that not be an offense to God, saying that, oh, I've completely interpreted your work. I know you say that I'm not supposed to know this, but you know what? I think you've left these clues for me. This is what I think you're saying. To be wrong again, and to look to his followers of this whole family radio, what is he going to say to them?
He's offending God because he is part of a cult. There are so many different cults in the world, and it's what you said. They put in to take out what they don't want in and put in their own meaning for the Bible, and that is insulting to God. That's offensive.
Do you have any input, Milan? You're over here very quiet.
I just wanted to bring up, back when you were talking about how people have, like, throughout the ages predicted the end of the world, I think that's pretty important to bring up. I actually talked to somebody about that last night. He was like, people have been basically trying to predict the end of times, or saying that they knew when the end of times was since, like, the year 500, and just the fact that I forget.
Everyone thinks they're living in the end.
That. Yeah, you're going to, because you don't realize, how much can come after you. Like, you see what's going on now, and you think, this is the worst it's ever been, and this is the worst it's ever going to be. But, I think each generation and each, millennia, even if you want to go off of that, like, has its, like, really, really, dark and pressing matter. Like, you think things are bad now, well, we don't consider the Dark Ages.
Yes.
So things have always been bad, just bad in a different way.
And sort of why we're attacking Harold Camping so strongly is because he's never proven anyone wrong. I sort of see Harold Camping as this little Swedish boy up on a hill going, wolf! Wolf! And it not being anything. And now there actually is a wolf coming, and it's going to devour him.
Yeah.
And that wolf is going to be the entire family radio coming after his ass on May 22nd, when he's locked himself in his home saying, I'm sorry, I really thought I had it this time. Sort of, fool me once, shame on you, Harold Camping. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, but there's no way anyone can predict the end. And we just have to live our lives for the Lord and prepare ourselves. And I look forward to the second coming.
Now, we have 13 days left at this point. I thought it was very fitting. It's Mother's Day. It's your day. 13 days left. 13 is your lucky number.
13 my lucky number.
So, if there really were only 13 days left, what would be the one thing you would want to do? Both of you.
What would be the one thing? Oh, that's a tough question. I'd have to think on that one.
We've already started making a list. We want to dance every day. We want to make sure that we read every day, write every day. We want to watch all the movies that we always wanted to see but never had a chance to see. Dirty Dancing, Casablanca, Pulp Fiction. Clockwork Orange she's never seen. Sort of movies that are seen as classics we want to watch. Just have a dinner party with friends. Make sure all the friends that you ever grew up with or were close to, just make sure that in these next 13 days you at least... That when May 22nd comes, you will have, if the world is still here, which we know it will be, you will have at least lived a very good 13 days.
Well, you need to prepare your heart for the second coming of Christ. You have to be... You have to have given your life to Christ.
If Harold Camping finally has it right this time, then there's nothing we can do about it. But if he's wrong this time, then he's going to have a lot coming down on him now in 13, 14 days.
Is this a thing that he does just for publicity?
People are giving him money because of this, and He's saying he doesn't ask for donations, but they're saying that these donations are anywhere between $500 and $1,000 each. They have 1,200 billboards up in the U.S. and over 2,000 others worldwide.
Well, look at all the followers that Jim Jones had.
Actually,
they even foolishly drank the Kool-Aid.
Funny story about Jim Jones. Inside Family Church, he actually has a piece of equipment that he uses, which, strangely enough, Odd Spiritual Connection, Reborn or whatever, was used in Jim Jones's church.
Yep, he's a false prophet.
He is.
And there are many, many, many of those. And the Bible tells you about the false prophet. And he is gaining monetary reward over this. You are supposed to give to others, not take. The Lord would be very displeased with him because he's got everything backwards.
And in 14 days, we will know. But at this point, we have 13 days left.
Right.
Possibly. We actually don't know if it could be like 8 days.
No, he could actually have these measurements off. It could come tomorrow.
Oh, heavens, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to know.
But do you know the timeline he's using? He's using the creation and Noah's Ark as sort of 1 day is 1,000 years and 1,000 years is a day, you know?
Yes.
So they're saying the 7 days of creation is 7,000 years. He's throwing the flood into there and saying that in this 7,000 year timeline that we are just now 13 days from the end of that timeline. Listen to this. This is inside the pamphlet that he wrote. Several years ago, we learned that silence in heaven for about half an hour referred to the 2,300 days that were the first part of the 23-year, exactly 8,400 days, Great Tribulation period. This period began on May 21st, 1988. He's saying this is the day, May 21st, 1988, the year that God left the church and was since then ruled by Satan.
We should look up what...
Actually, May 21st, 1988 was the day he was kicked out of the church and forbidden to preach. He doesn't mention that. But then he's throwing in this blah 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 23-year period of Great Tribulation, and it all leads up to May 21st, 2011. That's when Jesus comes back. Millions of people will die, he says. Millions of people are going to die in 13 days.
Interesting thought. We'll just have to wait until it comes, but I'm not a believer.
Nor am I.
Anyone can predict.
But
it'd be great if he comes back then. I'm ready. I have my house in order. I'm ready.
But in 14 days, if nothing happens, which I don't think it will, I will now have an account of all the crazy things that they've been saying about what they think is going to happen. That they're so 100% sure. But I think we've pretty much exhausted the topic for today. But, of course, we're later this week going to be covering Nostradamus and sort of what he's been saying about the end. But until then, tune in tomorrow for some more end-of-the-world raving.